So I've got some comments for our four horsemen attempts. We should be able to refine this and actually be able to one-shot next week if everybody understands what's happening. I didn't even understand how marks actually work. So you don't take any damage when you go from 0 stacks to 1. It's all based on how many additional stacks you're gaining. So if you have 1, you go to 2, you're gonna start taking damage at that point. So in this attempt, you can see the first set of marks went out at 21 seconds, and the next one went out 13 seconds after. 13 seconds after, it's 13 is the space. If I have you targeted, it's not to pick on you. It's just that you make a good example. You happen to have 2 different types of stacks hitting you at the same time for a couple of times, and from that we're able to see that, again, 34 seconds in is when he gained the second stack. Even though you have multiple stack types, it doesn't actually affect the damage you take from the other marks type. So going from 1 to 2, you're taking 250 of unmitigated damage. He's in defensive, so he's mitigating some here. When you go from 2 to 3, you're taking 1,000 damage. Not that big a deal. When you go from 3 to 4, you start taking quite a bit more. So gaining your 4th stack is kind of a big deal. I don't think the tanks are going to be able to avoid that because of the transitions, though. But that's only a 3,000 damage. But when you go from your 4th stack to your 5th stack, you're taking 5,000 now. 5th to 6th, you're taking 6,000. So you're approaching wipe territory when you're gaining the 4th or the 5th stack. So that really needs to be avoided, taking early stacks and whatnot. As far as the range goes on these, it's really, really big. Again, not to pick on anybody in particular. I know I've got 3-4 to target here, but you can see he takes a stack of Zalek, and Zalek is clear over here. So healers, when you're rotating around, you need to make sure you're on the outside of the platform from the bottom 2 bosses, and to even be in range of your tanks in the top, you're going to have to go well past it anyway. So that's not that big a deal on the top set. It's just the bottom set. Don't stop early, unless there's an absolute emergency to get the tank top. But there should be 2 other healers that are in range of those. So just make sure you're going past the platform on these rotations. And we're actually taking these in the incorrect spot. So Zalek actually needs to be pulled all the way in the corner and kept there. And Blamo obviously drops void zones, so it'll be pulled in the corner initially, but it might get moved around a little bit, so we need to watch out for that. Not to pick on Lost Cause here, but coming up here, he's going to take a stack from Blamo. Blamo's here, Lost is here, so I mean, he took a stack right there. This image is probably a little off. He's probably not at the top of the stairs. He's probably just at the base of the stairs. So the safe zone on these is pretty small to be safe from everything. We've got a copy of that I drew up right here, and this is pretty much to scale. When tanking these in the correct spot, this is actually somebody else's attempt, but you can see they're stacking the middle of the platform, and this is obviously a wipe because these guys are taking multiple stacks in the middle. But the safe zone's actually in this area here, where you're outside of Rogaine, Thrain, Blamo, and Zalek, and it's actually smaller than this. Moving them into these corners here is actually going to open up a little bit of space on the stairs, but I wouldn't be on the stairs, be in front of them, and B, make sure you are dead center and not leaving early when during the transitions. We do all this right, this should be a much easier fight, honestly. So